Hey everyone, welcome to another video. Today I'm going to be hiking at the Harmon Canyon Nature Preserve in Ventura. First I want to show you a place that I stopped before the hike in Camarillo near Ventura. This is Rolling Pin Donuts. This small donut shop located on Las Posas Road in Camarillo, California has been open since 1958. They make donuts fresh every morning and evening and have a large selection on shelves in the front window. My personal favorite right now is the large glazed apple fritter, and I'd recommend it to anyone trying this donut shop for the first time. Now back to the hike. Located on Foothill Road in Ventura, California, Harmon Canyon is the city's first large-scale nature preserve and was only established in 2020. It is 2,100 acres in total with multiple hiking trails. So right after you enter the Harmon Canyon Preserve, right off of McVitie Place here, it's next to this missionary school. There's a small dirt road that leads to the main parking lot. And this is the entrance. It's just a gravel-covered dirt road that leads to the parking lot. There's Harmon Canyon Preserve. The gate does lock 30 minutes after sunset, but since we're here at like 11 a.m., that won't be a problem. Alright, so this is the main entrance. You're just going down this gravel road straight into the parking lot where the entrance to the trailhead is. This is the sign with the hours that the park is open. It's pretty much open all day, sunrise to sunset, 7 days a week. You can already see some mustard plants here. These things are everywhere in Southern California, even when it's dry. This sign just lists the rules and information for cycling on the hiking trails. This is the sign right at the entrance to the trailhead. There's a sign with some trail user etiquette on here. Not sure why anyone would play loud music in a hiking trail. This is the map of the Harmon Canyon Preserve. The trailhead is right down here at the bottom. That's where you start. Directly after entering the park, this is the start of the trailhead before you get to the main trail, and you have options for multiple other side trails after reaching the main trail. This is what the entrance of the trailhead looks like. There's still some charred plants along here. I don't know how that hasn't recovered yet. Although there wasn't much to see directly after entering the trail, it starts to get much more interesting as you begin to go uphill and have some nice views. The plants along this trail are incredibly dry. Basically looks like a bunch of matchsticks right now. Here's the other side of the trail. Unfortunately, it's just as dry as the left side. It's even amazing how dry this is. It's like, it's completely dead, dry. Looks like it hasn't rained in like 6 months, even though it rained in March. It just didn't rain very much this year. There were some new trees that have been planted along the trail, which is nice to see since I think most of the originals were destroyed during the 2017 Thomas Fire. This is an example of one of many fire-damaged trees that I saw, and if this one recovers at all, it will likely take many years. This is the entrance to the main trail, which is flat and very wide, so many people can pass at the same time, unlike some of the narrow and steep side trails. Right in this little clearing here, there's another place where it looks like the dirt has eroded off of that mountain. There's some more rock exposed. That looks pretty nice. It's a pretty cool day today, so if you're coming on a warmer day, you might want to choose a different trail because there's no shade here at all. It's completely in the sun. There's a side trail right off of the main trail here. Even though it's just as dry as the rest of it, there are some nice rock formations over here. Looks like over time some of the mountain has eroded away, exposing the rock below. There's a hawk up there too. There's also what looks like an old abandoned tractor right off the side of the main trail here, so that might be a nice photo opportunity against the mountain. I'm not sure. Looks kind of rusted and like sort of falling apart. I don't know how old this could be. There's a sign right here that says to stay out of the creek channel. But if you go down here to where the creek channel is supposed to be, it looks like there has been water in here in forever. It's full of rocks and plants. I guess this could have been a creek channel at one point. Might look pretty nice if you're able to come here after some rain in Southern California, if that happens this year. There are a few trees for shade here. These are probably these are partway up the main trail. There is a little bit of shade if you want to take a rest or something. This is right after the start of the first side trail, specifically Trail 102, and as I said before, it's much narrower and steeper than the main trail. About halfway through Trail 102 here, it starts to go uphill a bit. You're not gaining that much elevation, but there's some. As you can see, it's starting to get to a higher elevation here. Partway through Trail 102, there's a slight amount of downhill incline in the trail, but it will start to go uphill very soon. On the Trail 102, I did come across a lot of these completely destroyed, charred oak trees that look like they were probably burned in 2017. After passing through Trail 103, which is the shortest of the multiple side trails, you enter Trail 105. Right after you enter Trail 105, it starts to gain a lot of elevation here as you start to go up the hills. This is about maybe 100 feet into Trail 105. You can see in the distance, you could probably see the ocean if it was a clearer day. And there's a pretty nice view of some mountains here. Towards the end of Trail 105, you start to gain even more elevation as the trail begins going uphill. With the breeze here, you can actually hear how dry all these plants and vegetation are. You can hear it crackling all along this mountain as well. The majority of the hike was moderately difficult, but there are some parts that could be considered easy, and none of them could be considered very hard. On a higher elevation part of Trail 103, I saw this this plant with red colored leaves. I'm not exactly sure what it is, but it's nice to see some color in all of this brush around here. Around this point, the trail starts gaining a slight amount of elevation before coming to the greatest elevation gain before the peak and the end of the trail. Okay, right after I recorded the last clip, which was right down there on that trail, the trail starts to get steeper as you begin to go uphill here. Alright, as you're getting close to the top of the hill here where the trail either ends or turns back, it starts to go in this round pattern around the top of the hill. At quite high elevation, once you get to this part, you can see all of this area below. It's a really nice view. You can see even more of Oxnard in the distance now. You can see mountains in the distance. It's a pretty nice view here. And from this elevation, if you look back in the direction where it originally looked at lower elevation, you can actually see the ocean. Although it is faint, you can see the ocean in the distance. This wire fence is private property, so you can't go and walk in there, and you can't follow the trails that lead into there. But you can get a view of Oxnard in the distance over there. You can see some of Oxnard right there. This is right after the private property line ends. You can continue up the trail that leads directly around the area. This part is one of the highest elevations of the trail, and even though you can probably hear the wind noise in the last few clips, I should probably say that it was very windy and cool up here. Throughout this part of the trail, the wind and cool air continue to blow in from the coast, making it much easier to hike. As we're starting to close to the top, you can see even more of Oxnard in the distance. You can see two high-rise buildings down there. You can see most of the Oxnard plains and the farms and the mountains behind. I didn't go on that clear of a day, but if it was a clearer day, you could probably see the ocean in the distance, even though you can see the faint color of the ocean at this point. This is the peak of this hill where the trail ends. You get a really nice view of Oxnard, all the area below there. Here you can see all these mountains in the distance, but it's kind of cloudy right now. Right where the trail ends, you can see the ocean. You can actually see the ocean pretty clearly there now. You can see the blue color of the ocean in the distance. It's really nice and cool and windy up here. Right where the trail ends, there's this. It looks like it used to be a post, but it was burned at some point, so this marks like the end of the trail up here. It's definitely a really nice view though, and a good place to end. After finishing the trail, I started to head back to the entrance, which is mostly downhill throughout the whole walk. Even after you finish the initial hike of the trail, the walk back to the entrance is still fairly interesting because there are a lot of nice views around you, and you might even notice some plants that you didn't spot around the first time. everything along this trail is sort of dried and it has burned in the past. There's a nice little sign of regrowth here. There's a cactus. This is sprouting out of what looks like the shell of a cactus that was previously burned. So that's nice. That's nice to see. There's another small sprout of a cactus right there, a few feet away from it too. And as you do start to make your way back towards the entrance, there's a lot of downhill on the trail here, since we're going back to much lower elevation. I've gotten back to trail 105. That means there's about 30 minutes walking partially downhill back to the entrance. That was about 40 minutes walking back to right near the entrance. The tractor in one of the first clips is right over that small hill. Right near the end of the trail, there's some more signs of regrowth here. There are a few mustard grass plants and there's some wildflowers right here. Alright, so after about a 40-50 minute walk back, I'm back at the entrance to end this trail. And that's all for today. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching.